So what combo do I go for when I open Cross and Ice Ryzeal? Well, I hold the Cross in my hand, there's no point to activate it yet. I don't have an Exceed to negate a card with. And activating Cross is just giving your opponent free information. So I normal summon Ice, summon Sword from my deck, Sword effect, to search me X'd to my hand. Now I special summon X'd by sending Twins to the grave. Use X'd to search for a copy of Sword. Here I activate Cross. I overlay the Sword and the X'd into Detonator. You could summon this in defense to play around them crashing a Bestial Druid's Worm, but I don't think that's too prevalent at this stage. Use Detonator to attach the Eclipse Twins. Then you special Sword from your hand. Then you overlay both of these into a Duo Drive. A lot of the time, if your opponent opens just one hand trap, be it Ash or a Veiler, they will hold it for the Duo Drive, assuming that they can at least play through a Detonator. If they cannot play for Detonator, they would just hand trap the Ice, in which you have plenty of extenders to play through. Here you can clearly see that if they were to Veiler or Ash the Duo Drive, you have Cross to negate with detaching from Detonator. Same thing if they were to have a Nibiru. Now, if they have hand trap pairs, it gets a little bit different. If they were to pair a Nib, you could at least get the Twins effect off to summon back the Detonator. But what if they have Impermanence? Since you have Detonator on the field, they should Imperm on summon of the Duo Drive. Because if you go activate Duo Drive's effect, they chain Imperm, you chain Detonator, pop, Duo Drive. Duo Drive then resolves, detaching 2 from the Detonator, and searching you 2 cards. Here you would just search Plugin and Node, and you can get a draw of Cross by putting back 2 Ryzeal cards. Node send away the Detonator to make any rank 4, be it Baguska or Abyss Dweller or Dugares to draw 2 additional cards. And in your opponent's turn, you can use Plugin to bring back the Detonator, Detonator to attach the Eclipse Twins under it, and a Ryzeal from your deck with the Plugin. So what if they know about this, and they just Imperm the Duo Drive on summon? So your board looks like this, you summon Duo Drive, and they immediately Imperm, because they know that you can use Detonator to pop the Duo Drive. Here, I would use Detonator, detach the Sword, to pop the Duo Drive in response to the Imperm, just to get it into the graveyard. This makes it so that when your Detonator dies, you can use Twins to revive the Detonator by attaching the Duo Drive to it, and then Detonator attaches the Twins on summon, while also getting a draw of Cross in your own turn. Well, let's say they don't have Imperm. What if they have Veiler or Ash, and they wanted to hold it for the Duo Drive? Keep in mind, when you went normal summon Ice, your opponent does not know that you have Cross in hand. So let's say they have an answer to Detonator or think they can play through it. They wouldn't want to hand trap the Ice, because they want to hand trap the Duo Drive to stop you from getting to Cross and your follow-up and additional extenders. Thereby, them holding the Veiler or Ash gets severely punished. Because here, when you overlay these 2 for Duo Drive, and use Duo Drive's effect, if they Veiler or Ash, you just negate by detaching from either one of this, and then detaching from either one of these 2 materials from the Duo Drive's effect, and searching you Node and Plugin. Okay, so what if they have Nibiru paired with either the Veiler or the Ash? Well, if they have Nib and Ash, they would have to wait for you to search with the Duo Drive before they can even get a chance to use the Ash, which you would negate with the Cross. Because if they Nib you here on summon, you would just negate the Nib, and then you would try to search, and they would Ash, and you can't negate the Ash, but you at least have Detonator and all of these cards through their Nib-Ash combo. So Ash and Nib doesn't really pair well into what you have here. So what if they have Veiler and Nib? Well, then they would, similar to what you did with the Imperm, they would just Veiler the Duo Drive on summon, so you can't pop it with Detonator. So they Veiler, Duo Drive. I would just negate this with the Ryzeal Cross. And then in response to your Duo Drive's effective search, they would chain the Nibiru. So they would Nib away this. You get a token, and they get a Nib. Twins triggers, targeting both of these to summon the Detonator. If they were to use Nib before you use Duo Drive's effect, you could even bring back the Duo Drive here, use its effect to attach because you haven't yet done so, and then you could search with this, grabbing your Node and Plugin. And why this is important is giving your opponent a chance to misplay is very vital to your success. In any given tournament you play, every single player you play will not play 100% correct every single interaction you have. Yu-Gi-Oh is a very complex game, so let's say there's 100 interactions across a match. There's probably more, but let's say it's 100. What percentage do you think those players, the average player, will make the correct play? I would say the average player probably makes the correct play about 40 to 50% of the time, while a champion is closer to 70 or 80. We know that no one plays perfect every single time. There's always chances to misplay. This is why I believe it's very important to play decks where you often give the opponent a chance to misplay in Yu-Gi-Oh! So playing super linear or non-interactive decks is generally to your downfall. Because if you are the better player, or you want to be the better player, you should give your opponent a chance to misplay. Because if everything was just black and white on paper, what you would do in any given situation, then the skill would only be in deck building and the cards you choose to play. But you can give yourself a huge edge by just allowing your opponent to make these mistakes, and you can capitalize on them. But yeah, this is what I aim to do when I open Ryzeal Ice and Cross in my Ryzeal deck.
If you enjoy my content, make sure to also subscribe to my second channel, linked in the description box down below. There I'll be posting more personalized and exclusive content.